Today, we're going to talk about a few things that we covered in the last few sessions, last two sessions actually, and we're also going to talk about a few other things. That's going to be a discussion and very interactive today, and so we're hoping you all will participate. I encourage everyone to turn on their videos so it becomes a little more interactive, and so I feel like I'm not talking to the thumbnails with just names there, but I'm actually talking to people with faces. So I encourage everyone to turn on their videos. You can be muted, but you can turn on your videos. And so I want to start with one thing here. Self-inquiry. Yeah. What is self-inquiry? What is it like? Is it just looking at yourself in the mirror? Is it thinking about yourself? Is it contemplating who you are? Is it contemplating what you can be, where you've come from? All of this can be correct. It can be beyond all of this. What, in my opinion, we have such limited conception of our own self. Like we limit ourselves that I am the son of this person, I am daughter of this person, I am a non-binary gender of this person, non-binary kid of this person, I come from this country, I live in this city, I work in a certain profession. And so we have all these ideas of our own self, and all those ideas determine who we are. They also restrict the concept of who we are and what we think we are. What is self? Like self, is it this body? Is it like collection of someone's mic is on? Yeah. Is it a collection of thoughts, or ideas, or memories, or perceptions, or worldviews, perspectives, opinions? Maybe like it's a collection of all this. It's the body, it's like the mind, all these organs that are within us. And like when we think of it, like thoughts, our thoughts are like a thought comes and thought goes, and then you see there's another thought, and then there's a string of thoughts, and then they're coming and going. So it's like, thoughts don't stay. They're always in motion, they're always in flux. Then if we think like we're feelings are a bit more in a deeper layer than thoughts. The feelings, like I feel lonely, I feel loved, I feel sad, I feel angry. These are a little more deeper than our thoughts. So maybe we are our feelings, but then we don't always feel lonely, we don't always feel sad, we don't always feel annoyed. So feelings, again, they are not stationary, they're not sticking. What is sticking? The experience that I experience this feeling. So many things, so many events, they're always changing. Like maybe someone, not a client of mine not paying me money could make me angry. My brother not listening to me when I want the TV remote control, that can make me angry. Maybe not passing in a certain exam can make me feel sad. Maybe not getting a certain job can make me feel sad. Maybe maybe a loved one's wedding can make me feel very happy. Maybe me getting a new house or a new car can make me feel happy. So the events that can cause these feelings can keep changing, but you're going to feel more or less like, like different intensities of happiness or different intensities of sadness by particular events. So what is constant here? The constant thing here is the self, me. I am experiencing all these events. So we tend to look at the causes outside. What are causing these feelings? What are causing the state of mind that I have? What is causing the state of mind that I am in right now? And we like generally not tend to look at the internal, like, we're always looking, oh, that person didn't do what I wanted, and that's why I feel like this. Oh, this didn't go as I planned, that's why I feel like this. So again, all of the outside is in flux, but I is what is changing. And why am I talking about self inquiry? That why should we be looking into the self? Because it is limited. We are not expanding our consciousness in the way we should be expanding our consciousness. We're thinking in very little tiny box of things we see, things we experience, our surroundings, and like that limits us in so many ways. And I'm going to share again, like one of my favorite things to do is share images. So I'm going to share some images. And like the idea of self or identity, before I share these images, I want to just talk a little bit more. The idea of our identity, like identity is determined by our own self. Like I decide that I'm a woman, I decide that I'm a filmmaker, I decide that I am so and so. So that is one side of the coin. The other side of the coin is, how is the world seeing me? So we often underestimate or overestimate this, that, oh yeah, I am seen as this really big macho person who has the answer to everything, or maybe I believe that. So the second side of the coin is, the exercise is a little bit about the second side of the coin, how we perceive others. At the same time, like, I'm going to try to like make you guys look into the fact that if we are identifying a certain person in a certain way, and that person is going to feel that way about themselves. So I'm not identifying this person. We're not going to identify the images we see as like, okay, this is how they completely feel about themselves. But we're kind of trying to understand how identity can actually uh, enable us to function in the world, basically. So if we look at this image, right? Like, anybody wants to tell me, what do you think about this person? Just looking at this image, somebody, I really encourage participation. I don't want this to be a monologue. So I am encouraging participation. Anybody, I don't want to point out names. I want you to like very proactively come up and tell me, what do you think about this person?
How's food?
You see food, okay. That's okay. And what do you think about the person who said that? I'm sorry, I didn't see you there. Who was it? The mystery person who defined the image? No? Okay. Do I have to call out the names and ask people? Okay. Mira, can you just give us what you think about this image? Like, what do you think about this person when you look at this person? Mira, are you listening?
Ma'am, can I share?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not ma'am. You can refer to me as Nupur. And who is it? Somehow I'm not able to see who's talking. Kushali, yes. Yes, please.
Yes. Yeah, I turned my camera on.
Amazing. Thank you.
When I see at this person,
You're stuck.
Obviously, the person is obese and is obese, but there's something about his face. He's also
Okay, Kushali, we cannot hear you. I think you're stuck.
I would like to add.
Of course, please.
The only thing I can say is my ultimate happiness is food, seeing this person.
Okay. Okay. That's fair. Yeah.
This person shows a little greed in his eyes. I think he
Okay.
would be full but still wants food.
Okay.
Can I
Anybody
share?
else? Of course, please.
I guess this person, based off his face and his expression, I feel like he has like this desire to eat that burger,
Mhm.
and
Okay.
he wants to fulfill the desire.
All right. Makes sense. Okay. We'll discuss what, why am I showing these images after I finish showing all the images. So I'm gonna move on to the next one, and like whoever's not talking, start talking. There are no wrong answers. We just want to listen. We want to make this interactive. We want to learn together. Who wants to talk about this image?
He is not looking at others, but he's not looking at his cup, but is looking at the other's expression.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
The expressions
Hi,
show
this is
that
Sorry, continue. Mira, was it you?
yes, it was me. His
Yeah.
expressions show a sense of achievement or being better than others. That's why he's looking at others' expressions to see how the others are feeling of he receiving the cup.
Right.
I would like to add something.
Of course.
This is Jignaya.
Mhm.
I feel that he still cannot sink his success, and he's happy, and he's still wondering, this has really happened with me.
Mhm.
That's all.
Okay. Thank you.
I would like to contradict to that what Jignabin said. I feel he already anticipated that he would win, and is just trying to show that, okay, it's just another win that I have. So it's nothing big that I've achieved. So he's maybe not astonished that way, but he's just thinking it's just one more gap in the feather in the cap. Sorry.
Mhm. Right. Anybody else? Okay, I'll actually move on to the next image. This is the next image. Healthyplace.com. Forget about healthyplace.com, but you look at the woman, and what do you think about the woman? Oh, Dhawal Bhai wants to talk. Yes, please, Dhawal. You've raised your hand. Now you have to speak.
Like the person's not in a good state of mind.
Okay.
That was my daughter, sorry.
Oh, yeah, I see. Right. Yeah, I mean, I didn't assume that your voice changed just in a matter of a few minutes. Anybody else want to say something? No?
I think
Yeah, Sanvi?
I think the person is like in a bad place mentally, and she's feeling like despair and like sadness.
Correct. Okay.
And I feel like the gray colors kind of help that emotion come through.
Lovely. You're an artist. That's amazing. Great. Anybody else want to say something? No wrong answers. Once again, no wrong answers here. It's just what we think this person is feeling or looks like.
It also could be that the environment is making the woman feel depressed
Yeah, that is
because
very,
there's like a small patch of light shining on her face, but she's obviously in a state of despair. Why? Because she's like covering her face with her hand.
mhm. Okay.
Or another way of looking at the image could be that so there's some light falling on her face, and the rest of the back or the rest of the body and the rest of the other part of the room is in darkness. So it may be the case that she is not ready to see the light, or she cannot see the light because of the underlying mental health issues that she's facing.
Wow, that's deep. Amazing. That's deep. Anybody else? No? Okay, we'll move on to the next one.
Tsunami of emotions coming upon her.
Okay, sorry, I moved on to the other image, but please continue. I can go back to that image. Yeah.
No, that's fine. I just said the tsunami of emotions are coming, and she's like devastated seeing those. All
Okay.
emotions through the gray color that are coming towards her.
Wow, that is beautiful. It's like you're describing a painting. Amazing, great. Okay, now this image. Hina, do you want to say more about this image? Like, sorry, do you want to talk about this image as well?
I think this is just anger. It's like blowing with anger at this point in the straight vision. I could think about that way.
Okay, okay. Great. Anybody else? I think Dhairya just joined. Dhairya, do you want to say something about this image? Anything that comes to mind?
I would like to add.
Of course.
He looks angry, but he's not actually angry. If you see his expressions, his eyes are not red. He's not clenching his jaws. It's just that some smoke blowing out through his ears. So it just gives me an idea that he is pretending to be angry, but not angry.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Maybe he's an athlete or a sports person who is pumping up for the next event, say maybe boxing or something. So he's getting pumped up for the next upcoming match or something.
I really like that one. Okay. Anyone else want to say something?
Yes. So I guess the person is feeling emotions of anger, frustration, saturation up to some level, and he wants to express those or let them out. But at the same time, he does not want to do it, which can be visually seen through the way he has formed his mouth. So it's like he doesn't want to take them out, or he doesn't want to express them, but it is way beyond the point, and the volcano has to burst.
Right. Yeah, that's good. That's very thoughtful. Who else? Jagdish, do you want to say something about the image?
I think all the last four images, they are related to the different expressions such as disparity, angriness, or to eating. These all are related with the desires, or ultimately that what you said, that we do not see ourselves ahem, and just we are viewing the outer world.
Wow, that's beautiful. Thank you. Okay, now I think it's the last image after this. Yeah, what do you think about? Does anyone know this person? Does he look familiar?
Albert
Einstein.
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 Einstein. So what do you think about when you see Einstein?
I think
He was
he's
always think about the time, motion, and energy.
That's right. E is equal to mc square, right? What else?
maybe he's just trying to digest the word that he has won a Nobel Prize.
Okay.
Deep thinking.
All right.
I think that he's wondering, okay, whatever inventions and things what I have done, is the world taking it rightly and is it being used rightly by the world?
That's
Because as per that things which I've read about him, that he was very much emotionally, you know, down when he came to know how his work was used, if I'm not mistaken.
yeah, that's actually very correct. When his concepts were used to make nuclear bombs, he actually went out on world tour to discourage the use.
So
yeah,
I feel this image is portraying that feeling of his, that was it really worth doing what I have done all my life for this? This is I interpret it like this.
Okay, that's fantastic.
One more way to interpret would be he's saying like my IQ is more than 160. What about you? He's looking at us and asking.
That's going to be very rare.
Yeah, it can be very lonely to be all the way up top there, not be able to
true.
connect with so many people. Yeah. Someone's mic is on and there's a lot of background noise. Thank you. Okay, this is the last image. So if anybody wants to add anything here. No.
Looking at him looks like he is happily wondering something, because there's some smiles on his face. So he's wondering, but he's happy whatever he's thinking or wondering about is what I can perceive.
Okay.
I'll just say something. If we were to remove the fact that this is Albert Einstein, then I'm just in awe of the curiosity of the picture, actually.
Yeah, that's a very thoughtful insight, because you by the first look of it, we form the entire perception of anything we see, and we often don't look deeper down. So that's a nice insight. Okay. Anybody else?
Yes. Yes, I think he's thinking for the betterness of the world, and maybe he's posing for the photo shoot.
Okay.
So I would like to ask question, not comment on this picture, but rather another question to everyone. When you all saw these pictures and expressed your thoughts about those pictures or this picture, what type of faculty within you used to come up with the answer? And I'm trying to correlate with the previous sessions of branches of knowledge. Like, did you answer these questions using your philosophical faculty or scientific faculty or artistic faculty or religious faculty? It's self-introspection now. Like, what faculty of your mind did you use to answer these questions or express your thoughts? Just think about that. It's a question you may not need to answer now, But as we move along with this session, I feel that was the point that we started off with these pictures. And the idea is to self-introspect and understand more thoroughly these faculties that are constitutionally working within us, and realize these faculties more clearly, and the importance of each faculty that is working within us. So that's a question from my side. You don't need to answer. We should proceed ahead with the session, and throughout the session, I think you just keep this in mind.
Yeah. So anybody who wants to, talk about what they're feeling about the answer for this question, what Tawal is asking, feel free to talk, or just think, internally. You don't have to talk right now, but if you want to, you're more than welcome.
Hi, this is Maitri here. So just before Dhavalbhai made that point, my thinking was through all these pictures was the answers are coming from our preconditioned mind on how we're conditioned, right? To look at some of the images or feel or think certain way. And that's how we interpret the world. So that's what I was thinking just before, he made his comment, which makes sense. But yeah, I think it's coming from a lot of preconditioning of our mind.
Right. Okay, so yeah, that's something to think about whenever we see like what exactly is the primary lens we're putting in our eyes when we see something. And also with these images, like the one side of the coin is that there has been so many interpretations. So a person can be whatever way, but everyone or the whole surrounding is going to interpret that particular state of that person in their own way, based on their own biases, based on their own experiences and thoughts and feelings and everything, all that constitutes that person. And then the other side of the coin, like if we try to put ourselves in the shoes of these pictures. So going back, we saw a fat man, like, it's politically incorrect for me to say that, but like, medically, this is an obese man. And, the idea, like, if I put myself in this person's shoes, if I was like this, I would have an idea of myself that I am a very fat person. I am going to let that govern my thoughts. I might be driven by food. I might be very much attracted to food. I might feel I might have a very strong inferiority complex. Like I would be very insecure when I'm going shopping for clothes, when I'm socializing. So that is the concept of my identity. That is how I see myself. And that is very limiting to me, because that's the only thing that I see. I mean, there are other things, obviously, but that would be a primary series of thoughts in my mind that, oh, how do I lose weight? I'm not able to do this. How do I do this? It's so difficult. With this person, like, someone who's achieved a major accomplishment in life, I'm probably, again, I'm putting myself in the shoes of these people, and I'm trying to feel how I would feel if I were in this position. And so what I feel is like, yeah, I have accomplished this. I have beaten so many people, and I achieved what I set out to achieve. And I have, what's next? What is like this was my dream for the longest time. What's next? And I'm probably going to look down upon a lot of other people. That is going to maybe induce some arrogance in me, some pride in me that might not work so well. So again, all these concepts that I would have towards my own identity will limit me, will put blinders around my eyes that this is who I am. Now I'm not going to fail, Or there could be fear of failure, that, oh, I've won, now I have so much now people are expecting more from me. So there could be that fear, that insecurity, that, oh, I have to win the next race. So again, there are blinders. Like everything we do, they put they put boundaries around us. Everything that we think we are, they put boundaries around us. This woman here, like, she's feeling sad, and so, like, oh, I'm feeling lonely, I'm feeling dejected, I'm probably going to feel like this always, and this keeps happening to me, why me? All these questions kind of just take over, conquer my mind, and it can actually be so crippling to function. And I'm not letting other thoughts in so much, and I'm just really in like a pressure pot or something, and it is difficult to exist. uh this angry person, if I was this angry, I'm like, oh, why this anger? And like, I have to let this anger out. And if I'm letting this anger out, how am I affecting other people? And I just have to get my point across. Why don't they listen? Why is it not working the way I want it to work? And so, like, these thoughts again are like taking over the patterns when we are feeling like this. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just, we just have to be aware that what is happening. Why are we like building this boundaries around us of these thoughts when we are in a certain state of mind? Same with this intelligent person, like, it is like so many times, more often times than not, like the emotional quotient can be a bit lower than the intelligent quotient for people who are extremely intelligent. They think more than they feel. This can be untrue. This can, like, there are always exceptions, there are always, but I'm just generalizing in certain ways which are more conventionally the norms. And the expectations again are higher, that, oh, you are this really intelligent person, you have to get everything right. And then you could actually annoy a lot of people by correcting them every time. No, what you're saying is wrong, what you're saying is wrong, what you're saying is wrong. And they could actually be wrong, and it is going to annoy people. So there are always limitations for whatever we are. And that's why we have been talking about various branches of knowledge, that we have to expand our own concept of our own self, not just the outside world, how we see things, but also internally, to like put like different lenses in our eyes: the scientific lens, philosophical lens, religious lens, artistic lens, and then perceive, so that we can slowly start expanding our vision, slowly start expanding the horizon of what it is, what it is like to be our own self, and how does this self function. So that is why the branches of knowledge, I mean, like last time in the second in the 2 sessions before, we went through all these slides, and we were talking about what is the definition, purpose of science, philosophy, art, and religion. And so when we start looking into that, like when we start looking, like in terms of science, this is how my body is constructed, and like if I eat this food right, if I do my exercises, my body is going to feel better. If I am an artist, even if I'm not an artist, actually, I want to do something, like I want to go dance, I want to like listen to music, and where is that stemming from? Where is that desire stemming from? So music can be looked into with a scientific lens, right? Like you can be thinking about the waves and the ebbs and falls of the waves, of the frequencies of the sound that is produced by music, how a particular string is tied a certain way to like actually produce a particular type of sound. So you can think about music from scientific perspective. You can think about religion from scientific perspective, and the other way around. So that is what we want to do, to like expand the vision of our own self, so we do not like get stuck in that particular state of mind, which we kind of went through all those images, that oh, if I'm sad, it's not necessary that I have to feel sad. I can look into it from different perspective, from a different lens, and try to understand this better so I can operate better. A watchmaker, if a watchmaker is trying to repair a watch, he really has to understand how the cogs and how the functionality of everything that is inside the watch works to be able to repair that watch. So that is what we are trying to do. The self-inquiry is so that we can understand ourselves better, so we can function better in everything that we do. So now coming to this, what we talked about in the second session, does like I put the definition and purpose and we went through all of it last time. And so we're going to do a quick recap, but I'm not going to do it. You're going to do it. Like you have the slide in front of you. Anybody just like wants to talk about science, wants to talk about art, philosophy, religion, anything, you're welcome. Please, I encourage. I really like it when you guys talk.
So let me kickstart with question then, and then probably that will help people respond.
Yeah.
Whatever answers you all gave and expressed your thoughts about what those pictures were about and what did that convey? Now that you see these 4 branches of knowledge, which faculty do you think you used to answer those questions? From all these 4 faculties, which one did you think you used to express your thoughts about those previous pictures shown on the screen? Was it a philosophical faculty or scientific answer, or was it from the lens of religion that you answered those questions, or was it an was it an artist expressing their thoughts? What was it? What do you think? What was it?
Yes, Aryan.
I would say for me personally, I would say you interpret it scientifically, and then you you like trying to interpret you like what you see is based from a scientific perspective. You're just like looking at something, and then the interpretation relates more to like the philosophical aspect, like try to understand like what it's trying to convey, how it's like what its meaning behind it. So it's like more of a philosophy perspective.
Awesome. Mm-hmm. Good one, Aryan. Awesome job. Anyone else?
Hi, can I say something? This is Harsh.
Yes, please.
As per the question asked by Dhavalji, I think majority of the images were expressing for me the purpose of art, because it was more on emotion side, except the last one, the Einstein picture, because it was more giving me a reference point to think about a particular person. But otherwise, they were all giving me emotions more than anything else. Thank you.
Good one. Let me give you a hint a little bit more. So in science, we say we would like to experiment and see the reaction of that phenomena as we experiment. And then we observe the experiment's results. And then only we come to the conclusion and express our thoughts. Yeah, that's the scientific way. Now, when we saw the pictures, we didn't really, did we really ask that person, what were you feeling when the picture was taken? Did we experiment in that way with that person? Or did we just subjectively answer the question or expressed our thoughts based on our state of mind? So did we really experiment when we expressed our thought scientifically?
I can answer it. I can just attempt it. For me, it was like starting with art because it was a picture. So first I need to see it as an image. Then it was a mixed blend of science and philosophy, I would say. Religion definitely didn't come into play at all.
Okay.
But science and philosophy both were combined, wherein certain emotions that we are seeing and the interpretations that we already have regarding those emotions in our personal I would say in our personal life that we have seen those emotions. We are just trying to connect those kinds of pre-assumptions. And then again, with science, we could say like there is some sadness or some kind of a parameter where we are just trying to evaluate those. If those things come into a personal life, then what are those emotions coming into, like one of those pictures with a burger in the hand. So the first thing, it is just the emotion that comes. It's an emotion of happiness if you enjoy food. But then having said this, after that, Nupurji also just mentioned that if that person was me, then there will be so many other kinds of interpretations that will go into my mind, whether I should eat, not. And all of those things comes from learnings. And those learnings could be health learnings, which are scientifically proven, which are there in my mind because I've studied somewhere. So it's not necessarily that I have to experiment in order to get it done. Maybe those are the learnings which I have learned it somewhere before, and they're there in my mind. So it would be a blend of both, I would say. So it's like beginning with art because we are just evaluating as a picture. But then the moment we are seeing all the emotions that are within us, all the learnings that are within us is being experimented. And religion will only come into the play when we are like, these images didn't show that element of religion, at least to me, because maybe I'm not connecting these kinds of images with any kind of a religion thing which I have learned about. So if there is some image where I could consider some religious angle to it, then again will go from art to religion. So it all depends on what is the learning that you have deep within with everything that you see.
That's beautifully put, actually. So, like now it was a blend of science, philosophy, and art. And if you actually if you actually encourage your mind to put a religious lens, like here we put religion actually gives us the lens of morality in certain ways. So if you were to engage your mind to have a religious perspective on those images, what would you say? Like any image from whatever we saw, if you had to put the lens of morality or religion, what would you say?
Again, I'll just go to the burger image when I'm saying if I put a religious lens to it, the moment I see that in a normal sense, when you see a fat man, you will just try to comment onto it, somebody who's already fat and looking at the burger with the desire to eat. But when you have that religion mindset, then you will have that emotions of not being so cruel on someone when you're seeing someone to that extent, and just feel for that thing like as if you were able to help or guide them in the right manner. So that morality, I would say, like the bound of a mixture of what compassion, daya, and different feelings that you learn on, I don't know how to describe it in a proper manner, but it is just like you will have more emotional connect to it in terms of how do you help them out in this situation and not be rude into commenting into those pictures.
Sorry, continue.
I mean, the two pictures which were there, one was the lady with the cloud, the gray drawing was there. So it was like she's into a deep despair. And the other one was a fat person who's looking at the food. But we know if he eats so much, it's not right. But having said this, religiously, we need to show compassion when somebody is into some kind of pain or somebody is doing into some. So that kind of feeling of a mixed feeling of how do you help them out, that comes, I think so, with some kind element of religious feeling, because like those little things will not come out of just science or philosophy, I guess. The feeling of what do you call daya in English? I'm not getting the right word at this point.
Compassion,
kindness.
So kindness and compassion is what first thing comes into the mind, and then you would want to evaluate how do you help them out. So this is what I could feel at my end from the religious point of view. And with regards to the one with the trophy in the hand, I would say if I've become an achiever, then the first thing I will have in my mind is, okay, now that I've achieved, I should not have that ego let into my mind, because that's the first thing that will let me go down. So let me thank God. So instead of saying that this person is actually seeing into the audiences and saying I made it, it could be like he's seeing into some he's basically seeing to the God that he actually worships and just saying, okay, we did it. With your help, we did it. So that could be an emotional or the religious angle I could think about.
That's amazing. I love everything you said, and like helps you being modest when you're putting in, like, you know, associating achievement with religion.
How about
Absolutely.
others? How about others? Speak up, please. Or maybe I should ask another question then.
Like,
Folks, please speak up.
yeah, Sanvi loves. We love to listen to Sanvi. She has great points. So Sanvi, want to say something?
Yeah, so I think like it depends on the picture that we are looking at, because in the picture with the lady in despair, I think I saw the picture with the artistic lens first because of the gray colors and how that helped the emotion come through of seeing the despair and the sadness that she is feeling. So the artistic lens helped us emphasize that emotion that the girl was feeling. And then with the picture of Einstein, I think I looked at it with the scientific view first, or the and let that kind of form the way I perceived it, because we know Albert Einstein is a famous scientist, and having that kind of understanding, I let that influence how I saw the picture. So I think different images and what the image was showing, different lenses came into play.
And if you poke and prod your mind to, like, you know, employ religious lens to look at Einstein, what would your brain come up with? Or any other image? Feel free to pick an image.
Sorry, can you repeat?
If you just poke and prod your brain a little bit to, like, employ religious or philosophical lens towards something that you looked at from a scientific perspective or artistic perspective, what would you come up with?
I think for the with the religious lens, I think with the lady who was in despair, I think the religious lens, I would say that like focus on God, or use like the light that was shining through. We could see that as like a symbol for like God trying to help her, and have her like accept that to like get through that pain that she's feeling, or the sadness that she's feeling.
That's amazing, actually. So yeah, like, you know, recognize that if you actually, you know, command your brain, command your mind to think in a particular way, it will do so. So if you have that awareness that, oh yeah, I can actually change the lens that I'm wearing and look at this in a different way, this will help me process my current problem or current situation or current situation of a loved one or someone around me better, and it can help me come up with better solutions. Would you agree? Or not even better, like more diverse solutions. Okay. Anybody else want to say something?
Hi, this is Harsh again. As you are particularly raising the question about the religious part, I'm not sure whether we can say or not. In fact, it is more like a question. Can we say that self-control and self-awareness be the part of religion perspective? I mean, it is, we are talking about spirituality or transcendental welfare. We are, when we say religious, it's not only about looking at the God. I mean, there are messages from the God as well. So, for example, if we consider the first example of a burger, a guy eating a burger, where he might need to have a self-control of understanding what his body structure is. Or even when, if you consider the picture of the girl where she's feeling sad, there also we need to have a self-awareness about ourselves, to understand ourselves that there is a light around us as well. It's not dark everywhere. So can we say that self-control and self-awareness could be the religious point of angles as well?
Absolutely. I mean, like one of the things the religion does, I think, is like to really look into self. How should I behave? How should I be? What should I do? What is right? What is wrong? These are the questions we ask ourselves when we are thinking from religious perspective. It's more about right and wrong, like from a moral perspective. With science, it's about correct and incorrect from objective materialistic perspective, experimental perspective. So yeah, that's a great insight.
I would like to say something. I feel that doesn't mean that I disagree with people or any conversation which has already happened. But I feel this kind of compartmentalism, like of science, philosophy, art, and religion, is always not so clear and not necessary to have. It's everything is overlapping, I feel.
Yeah.
Maybe you can have one lens of religion, but it doesn't work every time the same. See, because if we think of that person who was obese, I always feel that it is not necessary a person is fat because he's eating too much, or there are so many other things which is playing part of his body to be like that. That there are children who has so many hormonal imbalances and they are naturally like that. So I feel that doesn't mean that that person is eating, and we keep on, a kind of a judgment, or we keep advising or give a scientific solution to it. Maybe I don't know what I meant to say, but I feel this kind of departmentalization of science, philosophy is always not, we do not do it like that. It's not very clear in our mind. It's always overlapping according to the situation. And we mix 2 or 3 branches together and then we give our opinions.
That was the punchline, Jigna Ben. Awesome job. That was an
Thank
awesome
you.
job. That's what we are trying to convey, but not in a mode of prescriptive guidance. We would like to encourage, the participation from the audiences, and the audience bringing up the conclusions, and we would lead the audience in the right direction. And that's how we were envisioning the way we wanted to run these sessions. And I think you just did it that way.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. And I would like to add to that, like, I really, really like your perspective here. And, we're not trying to departmentalize as such. What we're trying to do is, for example, let's look at H2O. So that is water. To understand water, if you break down hydrogen and oxygen and look at the properties of hydrogen, look at the properties of oxygen, you might understand water more. So it's not like you want to separate H and O, hydrogen and oxygen. You just want to study them individually in order to understand what, when they come together, what they achieve.
Yeah, but I think what Jigna Ben is saying is, in practice, it is good to know each and every branch of knowledge. But then in practice, when we practice it really, it's not a watertight compartment. It is always a blend of multiple branches of knowledge where we perceive an object and analyze the object and then come to a decision making in our mind.
Absolutely.
Thus, she is making a point that every branch of knowledge has its own particular value in gaining the knowledge.
Exactly.
And this is exactly what we wanted to convey through this session, that people understand and appreciate the value of each and every branch of knowledge that it brings on the table. Knowingly or unknowingly, you might be using each and every branch of knowledge, right? And that's what I think Jignaben was trying to say. If I'm not wrong, Jignaben, if I'm...
Yes, yes, I meant that only. And second thing, I always feel that whenever we say, whenever it's just a picture that we are seeing, we are not seeing him or he or she live, or we are interacting with that person, so that we know actually whatever thoughts we give is always our preconceived notions, our circumstances, how we are brought up, and how things were around us when we were growing up and developing our mind. That kind of things will all our thoughts and our messages are always dependent on that thing. I feel like that. This is what I wanted to say. Ki every person's background is different, so accordingly, that person will be giving the judgment of that picture.
Yeah. So everybody would like, I'd like to give a soft nudge to everybody that as we proceed ahead with these discussions, keep in mind what our main theme is: objectivity and subjectivity theme. So we are systematically proceeding ahead with this theme, and we are leaning everybody towards into that direction. We are taking you all into that direction of objectivity and subjectivity. And so this is very important, that now we should self-introspect as to what branch of knowledge gives more objectivity or subjectivity. It's something needs to be brainstormed now. Like, it start introspection, start introspecting within you. Like, now that you are understanding all these different branches of knowledge, how about revisiting all those questions again in your mind? You don't have to answer that again here, but it's a journey. And I see a couple of raised hands from Darsh and Meera. Darsh, you want to go first, and then Meera, you next?
Yeah, sure. So I believe that all four fields are interconnected with the religion. If we go to if we look to our religion, and if we see our shastras, all this philosophy, science, arts, all are we can see in our shastras. And so I believe that everything is connected with our dharma. So that's it. Thank you.
Yep, good. Meera, do you want to go next?
I would like to add to the statement that we cannot departmentalize things. I would say it like one leads to another. Basically, science, as we mentioned, that it is scientific, like you have to experiment. Now, when we experiment, we have some assumptions in our mind, and we have a faith that this assumption would come true, or it might not come true. That's false. So having faith is from religion, and religion should have something like it is a psychological understanding of one God, whichever God you believe in. So it's more of philosophical. Like, this is what I think. Some people believe in idolizing, and we do murti puja. Some people have that eternal form. So that's a philosophy, that how we look at our gods. And life itself is very artistic. You see everywhere its colors and so many understanding of different forms. So it cannot be like this is one and this is another. It's like a circle. It's like a circuit. If you understand one thing, the other thing becomes more clear, and that leads to another one. So it cannot be separated, but it is interconnected.
a great perspective. Keep him coming, folks. These are great stuff that you're telling and sharing. Keep him coming.
This is Harsh again. I believe that at this moment, I mean, in this particular session, what we are trying to understand these different areas of knowledge. Obviously, everyone, I guess, agree that they are one or other way connected or interconnected. But to have an understanding of particular area or particular thing, like for example religion, where all the images, I guess more or less no one was able to connect directly with the religion. So whether we do understand the religion part or not, whether we can connect this to religion or not, so we need to have the basic understanding of what is each department is giving us. What did they actually mean? Whether we understand the science correctly or not, whether we understand the philosophy correctly or not. So I think I am still hovering around that point itself, whether I understand each department precisely or not. I'm not saying that we need to have the knowledge. Obviously, I also agree that in the practical perspective, we may not look at every department, or we may not think like that also. But if I have the understanding of each department, I believe that it may give me an edge when I'm making a decision or when I'm thinking about something. So this is my understanding, that what we are doing right now is to understand each department more in detail and connect with various things, what the pictures have been shared today.
Actually, that's a good suggestion and good segue to our next slide, Nupur.
Yeah, let me pull that up.
That's a good segue to our next one then.
Just a second.
Let's understand each in even greater detail now, each branch of knowledge. So question to you all, what do you understand from this picture now? What additional details this picture brings? Anyone? I mean, maybe we should give the audience 1 minute time to grasp this image, maybe. A moment of silence, probably, for 1 minute.
Absolutely. So who wants to go first? Yes, there is a raised hand. Can't see your name. Please, please start talking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I look at it that way, that where U is written as unity, M multiplicity. So if I look at unity as a straight line, which is composed of small dots, which would look from distance makes us look like a line. So art, religion, science, and philosophy are the small dots which make the line. I can come up with that way. So if you are in a unit completely, then art, science, religion, philosophy are needed to make you complete. So they are indivisible and they are needed in equal proportions.
Great job.
That's what.
Great job.
Yes.
Thank you.
How about others? Does anyone see similarity, dissimilarity kind of stuff here? Hint.
Megha is raise your hand, Megha.
Oh, she already.
I just spoke, sir. Yeah.
Yes, she already had. Anyone else? Come on, folks. Yeah, Sanvi, go for it.
Yeah, so I think that art, religion, science, and philosophy, they're like fragments that make up the whole, which is unity. And I think they're all important to get the whole picture. And I think that there's like different boxes inside of that large box that show the similarities and differences between the four lenses. So art and religion is like they're the emotional activity. It's based off of like religion is faith, based off of faith, and art is about how you perceive things and the idea you get from it and the emotion that rises from the art. So religion and art is the emotional activity, while art and science are the experimental activity. And because art and science, not everything can be whatever you think can be experimented, but everything that like the mental solutions and doubts, they're not always experimented. And then religion and philosophy are the transcendental and worldly understanding, and then science and philosophy, they're the logical understanding. Well, science is on the mundane level, while philosophy is on the supernatural level, but in the end they're both rational activity, so they're all interconnected in more ways than one. And I think that's what allows them to stand as as like interconnected and as unified than just being as different lenses.
Couldn't be a better explanation than this, Sanvi. My gosh, you just nailed it. Thank you. Anyone else?
Arvin has raised his hand.
Yeah. So I feel this picture talks about whatever, it summarizes basically whatever Dhavalbhai and all of us, I mean, all the others spoke till now. So basically it describes the overlapping of multiple lenses. For example, with your solid lines of green and red, you have tried to show how the overlapping of art and science happens, but at the same time, how art and religious happen, and that shows your emotional activities. Similarly, wherever there is an overlapping of religion and philosophy, so that's like shown in a solid red line or orange line. So that talks about the special, I mean, worldly and transcendental events. So same way, the science and philosophy also, there is an overlap that you have shown with the dotted lines. So in a way, basically you tried in the single figure, you tried to show how each of them have a kind of overlapping or a dependency on each other. So that way we will be able to describe them not with just with one lens alone, but we may have to combine more than one, maybe two or three, or maybe all of them to kind of come to any conclusion. That's it.
That's amazing. People who are not talking encourage you to talk and say something. Jagdish, you wanted to do a recap of previous sessions. Is your understanding better now of the previous sessions? I don't know if Jagdish can hear us. Oh, Sanvi saying something, yes.
Yeah, I think another thing that we could think about is if we just look at art, religion, science, and philosophy separately instead of unified, like what would happen then if we just look at something through the scientific lens? Then how would we perceive art, religion, and philosophy? What would we think of those three lenses if we simply believe in science? Or what would happen if we simply focus on philosophy and not the other three lenses? So how, if we see them as separate and not as unified as we talked about before, how would that change our perspective? So would we think that all the other three are just part of our like mental construction, that they don't exist or they don't have any kind of meaning or significance?
Awesome.
So
Awesome question, Sanvi. I think that's a segue to our next session. Does everybody believe we should take up this topic, what Sanvi proposed? Like we should dive deep into analyzing these four and understanding what if exactly what Sanvi is proposing. Like do we think like we should take that up in the next session? What say people?
I think that would be a good idea.
That's awesome. Great.
Others? Yes, okay.
Yeah, I would like to say something like, if you remember that when we started the first session, and then what we discussed earlier at the time, that we were trying to compartmentalize all this one, and then now after this couple of sessions, when JJ took the session, and then and everybody's actually now in opinion that all four faculties work together. So see our perception also changing when we actually learn about this art, religion, science, philosophy. So I think this is a great discussion that we probably should continue in the next while. I think 2 weeks from now, and then definitely we'll bring more example, and then we can openly discuss between all of us to make this thing 4 branches of knowledge. Make sure that we are clear on this thing.
Yeah.
So the next session we will deep dive into understanding these things more detail, like is the philosophical conclusions illusionary in nature, which merely exist in our mind only and it really doesn't exist in reality? Or is scientific conclusion the only reality and artistic thinking is just an illusionary in nature and it only exists in our mind? And if the religious knowledge is just concocted false stories by those who wrote the scriptures, right? All of these questions would be in your mind, I guess, now. That which one should I rely on? Scientific, philosophical, religious, art? Which one is false? Which one is true? Which one is illusionary in nature? Which one is real in nature?
Yes, Sanvi.
I think that there's also that kind of thing with religion philosophy, because there's like there's like variations of religions and variations of philosophy. So if we have faith in one kind of religion, how would we think of all the other religions? Would we see them as false or illusionary? Or if we believe in one kind of philosophy, how would we view all the other kinds of philosophies? Would we see them as not real, or like not the best perception of the universe or God? or Brahma.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yes. And like here's like a little homework for everyone, some fun activity to do when you're away, and when we meet in 2 weeks we can talk about that. You can just try to look at everything, dissect and like expand your understanding by seeing different lenses towards a situation. And then when we're back in the next session, you can share that example. It could be a situation, or it could be like how you looked at a particular object, a person, yourself, anything. It would be great if you share these examples. It'll definitely like broaden our understanding of how we are looking at four branches of knowledge. So it would be great if you come up with examples in the next session, rather than me showing images for every session. And yeah, sorry, Mitesh uncle.
Yeah, I would echo whatever Nupur is saying. Just think about whatever your daily activities you want to see how these 4 branches of knowledge you are using it. Not only we are talking about in the religion or Pushti Margi at this stage, but they're just thinking day-to-day activities we do it in your life, how the unity, how the multiplicity, and how this 4 understanding is taking place, and how you actually do the conclusion. So, and it would be you can bring your example, whatever you do it. I think it would be great to see the different perspective from different participants right now, and we'll have to have this more participation from you guys actually, so we can actually openly discuss and have a very good understanding of all these 4 faculties.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I'm going to share a platform which Jigna shared earlier. So you can, this link is there in the chat, pushtipedia.com world peace. This has basically whatever sessions we've done so far. It has transcriptions and like deeper dissections of what we've been talking about. And so the link is there in the chat. Please go through it. And this is a wonderful resource for reference to understand more. So do check it out. And another thing I would like to say is like it is so important to really understand the subject matters that we've been talking about, to participate diligently, to have that commitment towards the sessions, to like actually attend all the sessions, so that there is structured understanding and not fragmented understanding. So like I encourage everyone to like be regular to these sessions, be more active in the groups when we're doing the sessions. So then yeah, like we can all get more, we can all receive more from these sessions. And the poll is up. Please give your please put in your vote on what was your overall experience for today. We've got only 9 out of 14 people. So whoever five people who are remaining, please just put in your vote, and we'll try to keep it once in a month. Yes, Jigna ji, yes. So 4 more to go. Please put in your vote. And we're wrapping up now. So just once you're done your vote, we can conclude the session for today.
I would like to say here, like this is a great session, and we are also looking for volunteers who are interested to actually participate, to prepare the slides, to understand this thing discussion, as we actually mentioned in the last session as well. So we are looking for the volunteers. We have already, thank you, Harsh, and they actually provided support to actually build the group. So we are also looking for volunteers, and I'm going to actually post it in our WhatsApp group. If you can probably personally message me or anybody, it would be helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, it would definitely help understand even better what we're discussing here if you actually come and like support facilitating of the sessions. So please do come up and help us with these sessions. It'll be great. Yeah, I think we're done for today. Thank you so much for joining. And we'll be doing another session mostly in 2 weeks, but we'll confirm this in the group. And we're hoping that you'll come up with your examples of how you saw something differently, how you unified your theories of all the departments of knowledge, all the branches of knowledge we've talked about, and how that helped you function differently. So that would add a lot of value to the next session. Thank you, everybody. I hope you'll have lovely rest of your weekend, and
Thank you so much.
Yeah, we'll see you next time.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank